Hello class 11, welcome to your online education class. In the last day we have seen what is education, meaning of education and why you are learning this special subject and what are the different derivative meaning of the word education and what is the source of this word, etc. Today we will start with a new part of the first chapter, that is the concept of education. Now, as we will go through the chapter, we will see that there are mainly two different concepts of education. One is narrow concept of education and number two is broader concept. So, one is narrow concept and another one is broader concept of education. So, now first let me tell, depending on this particular topic, we have divided into two different concepts: the primitive view, that is the narrow concept of education, and the broader concept of education or the modern concept of education. Now, if we go through the narrow concept, we will see that it is being divided mainly into two parts. One is acquisition of knowledge and another one is education is a discipline of mind. Now, first let me tell you what is narrow concept basically. Narrow concept means in the primitive ages, the historians and educationists, they used to believe that education is a vast knowledge, it is okay, but the teachers and the educators were the only source of knowledge, and they used to provide the knowledge what they have in them to the students, and students were compared as a blank sheet of paper. If you take a blank sheet of paper, what happens? It is of no value, isn't it? But if some important documents is written on it, and if some important lessons is being written over there, then it is very useful to you. Or it is a sample question paper, like you students, it's very important. Now, why I am giving this example, because in the narrow concept or in the narrow concept of education, the thinkers or the educators, they used to believe that the empty paper is was compared as the mind of the children, and the notes and all the valuable documents which would be given or written on the paper, the source was the teachers, and they were considered as a reservoir of knowledge. The teachers were being compared as a reservoir of knowledge. And when the teacher will teach the student, they will get the information, and the information, the empty mind of the students, just like an empty sheet, will be filled up with knowledge, and thus the paper will become very useful. And so it is compared that after getting the knowledge, only the child will be enriched with new knowledge and new experience. And only in the narrow concept of education, as we will proceed, we will see that it is emphasized only on the bookish knowledge. So, whatever the teacher is used to decide, they used to provide the education to the children. There was no options like you people, that you are choosing your own subject, you are choosing your own syllabus, what subject you want, what you don't want. Some are taking the art stream, some students are hiring science, and some are going with their commerce subject. So different streams are there to select in the modern days, but in the primitive ages, the teachers used to think, and they used to decide the children what they will take and what subject they will prefer for, and what subject they will prosper with their future. So there was less options, less opportunity, less scope for the students to express their own viewpoints and express their own wishes. So this is all about narrow education. Now this narrow education has been divided into two different divisions. Why? Because these divisions has become, because the group of educators, those who were telling, they have different thoughts about this concept of education. Now what is acquisition of knowledge? If we consider acquisition of knowledge means when you are acquiring something, and before acquiring something the place or the thing was empty. Now here two things we will see. As I have told you that the teachers and the educators used to think that the students were just like an empty sheet of mind. Just like that, there are two theories we will see. One is pipeline theory. When you will go through the PDF, you will see all details of the chapters. Now this explanation part is given. When you will go through the PDF, you can see all details. Pipeline theory and gold sack theory. Now, depending on this theory, acquiring of knowledge or acquisition of knowledge, the educators have divided into two different parts. Sorry, there's a mistake. Pipeline theory or gold sack theory, more or less is the same. And the next one is mind is a set up of discipline. Yes, this one, acquisition of knowledge, and the education is a discipline of mind. These two points. Now, here under acquisition of knowledge, pipeline and goal sack theory. Now, pipeline theory means, see, if you see a pipe on the road, it is of no value, isn't it? But when you will see the pipe is being used for providing water or for agricultural purpose, it is of great value, isn't it? So this acquisition of knowledge, or the thinkers of the pipeline theory, has compared the empty pipe or abundant pipe with the mind of a child, because that time the abundant pipe is of no use. Just like that, the student is of no use, but when the teacher is giving providing the knowledge to the students, or the pipe is filled up with water, it is of great value. So the water which is passing through the pipe is being compared with the education which is provided by the teacher, and the empty pipe, when it is being filled up, it is being compared with the enriched and developed mind of the child after receiving the entire knowledge which is being provided by the teacher. So this is pipeline theory, which is coming under acquisition of knowledge. So one is pipeline theory. Again I am repeating, our abundant pipe is of no use, but when it is being used for using for some agricultural purpose or for the pump purpose, when we need water to use the pipe, then it is useful. So the water which is passing through the pipe is compared with the knowledge which the teacher have in him or her, and when the pipe or the empty pipe or the empty mind of the child is filled up with knowledge or water, which is compared over here, then the pipe is of getting a great value. Like the students is enriching its mind with the knowledge which is provided by the teacher. The same about the goal sack theory. Goal sack theory is also the same. Now see, if you see an empty sack on the road, what you will do? You will throw it away, isn't it? But if you see a sack which is filled up with gold coins or the glitters of gold, what you will do? Either you will go to the police station to submit it because someone has, maybe it has lost, or you will take it which is incorrect, but still it is of value because it is falsely one. So just like that, why I am telling this, why I am giving this example, because the sack, when it is empty, just like an empty mind of a child, it is of no use, is it? But the gold inside it, or the gold glitters which is put inside the sack, it is of great importance, because when the that is being compared with the knowledge of the teacher. So when the knowledge or the gold or the expensive thing which is entering in the empty sack or in the empty mind of the student, then it is of great value. The same thing what I have discussed in the pipeline theory, the same is of gold sack theory. Now, so pipeline theory and gold sack theory, I think you have understood. So gold is being compared with the knowledge which the teacher will provide to the student, and the sack which was empty, like the mind of the child, is enriched with the knowledge which is given by the teacher. Pipeline theory and gold sack theory. Now the second part, the second theory, like acquisition is one. Number two is education is a discipline of mind. Now the second part, the discipline of mind, here the thinkers, those who believe in this theory, they are telling that mind is a sum total of some different sectors. Like, how shall I explain you? Like, for singing, a separate part is being provided. For education, a separate part is given. For sports, a separate part of mind is provided. For extracurricular activity, a different part is given. For spoken capacity, speaking English, it's a given separate part is given. So here they are not believing that the teacher is providing all the knowledge to the student. They are agreeing with that, but they are telling that the mind of a student is a sum total of different faculty or different sections, where the teacher will put the knowledge to the students, and the student will be filling up the different faculties with different sorts of knowledge. Like the singing music teacher will provide music, the education teacher will provide education, different subject. The speaking capacity will be increased in a different sector. So they are of supporter of that mind of a person or an individual is a sum total of some different sectors. So these sectors will be filled up through the or with the help of the knowledge which is being provided by the teachers. Now there are some characteristics of narrow concept of education. Once just I will brief up what I have told. Narrow concept of education is divided into two different parts. One is acquisition of knowledge and another one is education is a discipline of mind. Now here acquisition of knowledge means the students is acquiring knowledge. It is being compared with the empty sheet of paper, and the knowledge of a teacher, with the help of the knowledge of the teacher, the paper, the empty paper or the empty mind of the student will be filled up by the knowledge, and the paper will be filled up with letters or important words or documents which is of very big value. So thus in the same way the pipeline theory and the goal sack theory is being compared, is being explained. Pipeline, I have told you, an abundant pipe which is of less value. When water is put inside, it is of great value because we are using it with the for different purpose, for agricultural purpose or for hiring water from one place to the other, like that. And gold sack is also very easy to understand. Gold is very valuable, we know. The sack which is empty is of no value. When gold is put inside, it is of a great value. But the second opinion, just like this is 1 and this is 2, these are the two opinions. Now the second opinion which is telling that it is a sector, it is a education is a mind of an individual is of different sectors and different faculty, and by the teachers it is being filled up. Now there are some different characteristics of narrow concept of education. Now, there are different characteristics of narrow concept of education. Number one, what we will see, so characteristics of narrow concept of education. So what we will see, what we have seen here in the narrow concept of education, the factors of the curriculum or the school building is being ignored. So here only two factors are working together. They are, number one, student, number two is teacher. So here in the first point we will say that this narrow concept of education is dependent basically on two factors, ignoring the school and the syllabus or the study material. The two, one is teacher and another one is student, where teacher is being emphasized more than the students, which is totally unscientific nowadays. So this was the first point. Second point is, in case of primitive education, the subject matter was unchanged. There was no flexibility of subjects. The teachers used to select some subject and they used to teach the students, and students, they never get any options of choosing their own subject. They were bound to study with the subject which has been selected by the teacher, and the subject matter was unchanged. Now we can see that after some years our syllabus is being revised, isn't it? From junior to senior, all the classes, the syllabus used to change. But at the primitive age, when the education started with its narrow concept, the subject matter were unchanged for a long period of time. Now, the third point we will discuss is, yes, it was very mechanical. There was no flexibility, as I have told, that the teacher and taught were given importance, and the subject matter was chosen by the teacher, and finally it has becoming very mechanical. If the thing is, the student is the center of education nowadays, isn't it? You are getting full freedom to choose your own subject, and your intelligence, your capacity, your capability, everything is being considered over here in the modern education. But at that time, students were secondary and the teachers were considered as the most important factor of education, because they were considered as the preserver of knowledge and they used to provide the education to us. Now, so this is all about narrow concept of education. In the next class, we will continue with the broader sense of education, and we will discuss what are the different theory, and finally we will discuss what are the difference between narrow concept and broader concept of education. Thank you.